Welcome everyone to our monthly class. We do one free class every month, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. Please type into the chat box where you're joining us from and what you're most interested in getting out of tonight's call, because I really want to give you what you need. Got a lot of good people. Hi, Bridget, glad that you made it tonight. Some people are regular people that we just love having return. And sometimes we have people that it's their very first time, and we have several of you tonight too. So thank you so much for joining us. Well, let's get started. So this is all about how to stand out in a competitive market. It is a little bit competitive right now. There are more companies that are coming into our business and more people that are trying to figure out, how to thrive in this business. So the new companies that are joining our profession, certainly we have nutrition, skincare, technology, financial services. There's a lot of them. I think, though, that people are being a little more cautious about starting a direct selling company because of the amount of money that it takes. So we have a lot of legacy companies that have been around for a long time that are upgrading and shifting the way they do things. You're going to notice a lot of compensation plan adjustments. You're going to notice some product adjustments, corporate executive adjustments, and so on. So a lot of new things that are happening while these people are joining our profession. The idea here is to outshine your competition. Be that person that goes above and beyond. Be that person that does way more than what other people do. People like to do business with people they like. So, doing those extra things, remembering their birthdays, remembering who they are and their family members, and all those kinds of things really do matter. Sending out little, e-birthday cards to people and have them done in advance. Making sure that you're doing some sort of communication, whether that's a VIP group with your customers, whether that is where you're giving tips and ideas around your product, whether that is a newsletter, but you want to outshine your competition. Go above and beyond. And by the way, you can type into the chat box if there's something you need me to repeat or a question. I promise you I'll come back to it at the end, because I want to make sure that you get value out of the time that we're here. So that's by providing outstanding customer service. You know how you like to do business with people that you like? Well, that's the good news. You get to be that star that outshines other people. Let people know you are about customer service. Today in the gig economy, customer acquisition is king. I'll say queen for some of you. So it is important that you do well with acquiring customers and retaining customers. And you do that by being that person that provides that outstanding customer service. Keep a card or something in your database on each customer, so you don't just call them when you need something. You don't just call them when you're looking for an order. You don't just call them when you're trying to remind them they haven't ordered in a long time. Whatever it is, you want to call and connect when you're not looking for anything. Just seeing how they're doing. Last time we talked, your son, John, had been ill. How's he doing? People remember those things. People love it when you care about them, when you're interested in them. And remember, people find you interesting when you are interested in them. Key factor, be interested. Share the wealth. Find customers for your customers. If one of your customers is a beautician, send referrals to her. If they're a lawyer, send referrals to him or her. Find ways to share the wealth. Always refer and ask for referrals. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. A lot of people want to give those to you. So share the wealth. Connect with more people. And I just love it when somebody sends somebody my way. There's somebody on our call today, and that's you, Miss Amber, that your leader referred you to this call. I so appreciate that. It's like I meet new people that way. We keep spreading ourselves and connecting and finding people that we maybe would have never met otherwise. So when we do that for other people, sometimes they'll just do it for us too. So share the wealth. Find customers for your customers. That's always what I should say when somebody calls and they have an appointment, and maybe, they're calling to try to sell me something. They're calling to share their new program or whatever it is. One of the first things I say to that person is, how can I support you? How can I be of service to you? They're really shocked about that because that's not the first thing most people say. But when you say it, you got to mean it, because you be prepared, because they might say, yeah, you got to do this I'd love it if you did this for me, but you can't do everything for everybody, but you certainly can make an effort to do that. So always be of service to other people, and it comes back tenfold. So let's talk about distinctions for a minute. What makes you and your company different? Be aware what is different about what your company does or what you do. Now, you don't need to convince people that you are so special and so unique. Show them. Do things to let them know. If your service is, 24-hour delivery, or if that you accept all different kinds of credit cards, or that you have, something about your quality products. Again, don't always try to convince people about how great you are, because you create objections when you make a bunch of statements. So learn to ask questions, and that's just part of the selling approach. But no, what makes you and your company different? There are unique products that nobody else has got. There are companies that have been in business for 50 years. That makes you a little bit different. We are a stable, secure, profitable company. That could be different. Maybe the difference is that you're a new company. We're a new company. We've only launched 6 months ago, and we're at a very good place at attracting new team members, because people like to be there early. Find out what makes you different. I see a comment here from Lisa. Lisa, glad you're here. Statements create objections. Key point. Thank you. You see, people don't object with their own answers. When they ask a question and the person gives an answer, they don't object to their own answers. So statements can create objections. You get a bunch of objections, pretty good chance you're making a lot of statements. So just think that one through before you get there. Be the solution for others' challenges. When somebody has a challenge with their health, if your product is a solution for that with their health, now you can't make claims. You can't tell them, hey, we cure this and we cure that. Don't go into that. You don't need to. What we found is that this product can make a significant difference for someone that has severe headaches, or someone that has high blood pressure. Whatever your company has allowed you to say, that's what you say. But be the solution. Women my age love skincare because we want to look younger longer. And that is a good statement for somebody that, our products support people in looking younger longer. And people like that. That's a solution for the challenges. You wouldn't want to say, honey, we get rid of every wrinkle on your face. That roadmap will disappear in 2 days. You don't want to make up things. Be a person that tells the truth, and they love that too. They want to know that you are authentic, that you do tell the truth. But be the solution. When someone is looking at releasing weight in their life and you have a weight loss product, what we found is that this product suppresses appetite, if that is what is the truth. Don't make up things, give facts that your company has given you. Develop a strong social media presence. Now, not everybody loves social media. Not everybody is good with social media. Find someone that is, and select them. Have them be a part of what you're doing. The good thing about social media is that you're in front of people, you're noticed, you're consistent, and find out how to use it. Find a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old. They're pretty good at all that. But I know people that are in their 60s that have gotten good at social media. So how do you develop a strong social media presence? You are relevant. You make postings, and you don't talk about what you had for breakfast. You give a relevant quote or a story. People remember stories. Interesting picture. Find out what works for you, and always respond. When people respond on social media, make a comment back. Just even if it's, hey, thank you for your thoughts. Something so that they know you're a real person, not a robot, and you're not an assistant. You are yourself, and make comments. People like that. Go out and post on other people's. Follow other people and post on their sites, because connecting with others is a key with social media. People, again, like people who like them and who are like them. So find things in common. Develop a strong social media presence. Get noticed and be visible, not by doing weird things. Be in your community, connect with networking groups. And there are online networking groups. There's things that you don't have to even go out and be with people. Although I love people. I really miss that. I feel like I'm back and people are coming to life again. I'm so excited. So how do you get noticed? By doing kind things for other people, by noticing other people, saying good morning to people that you meet, connecting. I I have a friend that loves to be visible, and the way she loves to be visible is by wearing kind of interesting clothing. Now, I don't think you have to have a top down to here and a skirt up to your thighs to be noticed. I think you can look classy. I think you can wear your company logo wear. I think that you can not be afraid. Carry a bag or a notebook or something that has your company name on it so people can connect and remember you. And go to as many activities locally as you can. Go and ask to speak on a subject that you're familiar with at a Rotary Club, a Kiwanis Club, Women in Business. Just be out there and not be afraid to show up. And when you show up, even when you walk into those things, visit the tables and introduce yourself before you get up there and speak, so people remember you. Take your business cards and put them on the table or hand them to each person. Just connect and watch what happens. You will stand out in the crowd. You will shine. People will remember you. So make it easy to do business with you. Sometimes it is so hard to do business with somebody, and they make up all these rules and what you can and can't do, and we don't have a return policy, or I don't accept returns, or you got to decide in 2 days that you like it or want it or whatever. The companies that have really good return policies generally do well with people, because it makes it easy for them to do business with us. So I don't accept text. You have to call me. No, you better learn how to text. Everybody has a different communication style. And that's one of the first things to ask your customers and your team members. How do you prefer to be communicated with? Now, we all know there's so many forms of communication. For international people, we've got WhatsApp or other free apps like that. We have our email, we have our messenger, we have our texting, we have Facebook. We have got so many ways to communicate. Find out what works best for that person and learn to do it, and learn to accept how they look. So that means you got to check things every day. You don't want a hidden message for 2 months. You want to find that message and respond. We make it easy to do business with us. That if you are shipping your product to people, we take it the same day. And if you don't have Indicia or, a shipping program on your home computer, it saves you so much time, and it saves the client time. So make it easy. Have office hours. Let people know when you're in your office if they want to talk with you. Again, let them know the fastest form of communication with me is texting. If you say, please text me for the quickest response. If I'm in a meeting, I will get back with you as soon as the meeting's over. They know you care. So make it easy. If anybody has any ideas of what you do to make it easy to do business with you, please type it into the box because we'd love to hear from you, or just unmute yourself and talk, because others are wanting to be successful in this business. We're all here for a reason. We're all here because we want to have more customers. We want to have more team members. So we want to find ways to make it easy. I'm going to tell you, Miss Bridget on the phone, I just happen to know this, or on the call today, she does an open house every year that she goes on the road. And she takes the open house to her clients. And that has been very successful for her, done thousands of dollars in business, and traveled back to an area where she lived before and did several open houses for her friends and clients and so on. That's an easy way to do business with you.
Yeah, Nikki, it's Bridget.
Yes.
Hi. I wanted to, yeah, I do that. I do that to maintain the relationship. The other thing too, because of Zoom, honestly, I've been seeing a lot of my customers from up north more on Zoom than I even did when I lived there.
Wow.
So, yeah, so they will connect, but it's because I make it easy. Would I like them to be hostesses? Absolutely. Most will not, but they will hop on. And I've learned to make it super easy. It's like, let's just hop on and go over this real quick, as opposed to all the formal coaching and all that. This is if it's just one-on-one. If it's going to be a group, that's different. But something that you said before that's worked really well, that's working very well for me right now, is when a customer sends me an order or calls me, however she's communicating with me is how I will communicate back with her, and I will confirm that I got her order. Now, if she's sending me an email, I'll send back saying, thank you, I got your order, but I will also text her. Now, I personally like to pick up the phone and call and leave a voice message. I have learned, though, a lot of them are not listening to voice messages. They're not taking their messages. So I find I have to know my customers, and I make a note which way she likes to be responded, communicated with. And that has really helped, because many that do text do like the phone. So then I will call or I'll text, can you chat? Can you talk? Is this a good time? Or when can you talk? That has been very successful, like this past year. So I've just really noticed it. So I'm kind of watching where I need to tweak things. So maybe that'll help somebody. And they like the personal. They like my voice, not a machine. So again, you have to know your business. In my opinion, you have to know your business and your style. And I'm talking about my long-term customers. These people have been with me for over 30 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Somebody that's brand new, I can teach them anything I want. But my oldies that really are the ones that support my business, those are the ones that you were referring to that I drive up north for, and in 1 week sell over $7,000, and my most expensive item is like $70.
Wow.
That's because of that long-term relationship. It's not because it's somebody new.
Good point. Thank you so much, Bridget, for sharing that. I have a note here from Jill Adair. She says, use an automated follow-up service like Project Broadcast to create campaigns that help you follow up with customers. You have to offer lots of options of how to meet with them. offer to do a quick Facebook video chat, Zoom in person. I love using voice memoing. Thank you so much. That good point there. I see I have Antoinette on the line today too, and Antoinette is like the queen of customer service. Antoinette, do you have something valuable that you want to share with everybody?
Great evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks.
And it's so funny. I just had a conversation with one of my customers or clients today, and she was just saying how much she loves me. I just make a point of really getting to know them and knowing what they like, pay attention to previous conversations. So when we talk again, I know the person. I take time out to get to know them. It's definitely more than a dollar, a dollar sign. And we have the absolute best relationships. And the funny thing is, now because of COVID, a lot of them I've never met.
Wow.
And we have this connection that is none other where they're saying, oh my goodness, I have to make it to Florida to get to meet you. And they're
Oh,
like all over. So really paying attention to them. And like you said, going with what works best for them. Sometimes one she may, and I'm not a big messenger person. It drives me batty. At the same time, sometimes this in particular one, it may be messenger, it may be text. She may call. She's all over. She's in Africa. She's here. She's there doing different missions trips. So I make it convenient for them to reach me. So I pay attention to every, and there's so many, but you kind of get to know them when you pay them attention. So paying them attention does make it easy to do business with you.
Thank you, Antoinette. And
You're
by the
welcome.
way, my sister loved that you chased her down at that meeting.
She shocked me because I wanted to speak to her. And she just said, ah! And it was so wonderful. And I said, oh my goodness. Yeah.
That was fun. She had a good time. So here's a couple of others thoughts using a QR code. A lot of people are using that technology. It's free. You can find out how to do it. Just Google it online and you'll figure it out. But that's a great way for people to have direct communication with you through that code, going to a particular form or whatever. You want to have send thank yous to customers when they place their order, which is kind of what Bridget does, but she reaches out and says thank you. But even a thank you card that is automatically for every new customer that comes in is a wonderful thing. But if you can say a personal thing with them, that is good. And then having your Calendly or something like that, Taskmaster, or something that you can use for people to make appointments with you easily, so you don't go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So Calendly is a free app, and you add it on your signature line, and then people know how to reach you. So Antoinette, you
Can
would
I
like
add something? I'm
Sure.
sorry. So, and I'm not sure if it's just for one in particular company, but I'm sure there's others that do something like this. I have people a lot of times messaging me or texting me or emailing me saying, hey, what's your website again? What's this again? What's that again? So there's someone who creates it's an app. So I have an app that I sent out to all of my clients. And when they click that app, it has it's like when they open it, it's my website, call me, text me, it's my Facebook connection. So everything is there, email, whatever they need to do. And even some things that they may want to do pertaining to my company that directs right to me. It's all inside of this app. And that's like wonderful. So I don't get that many, I don't have your website. Oh, I lost this. What's this? What's that? So one thing, and it just opens up to everything. My Calendly's there, my Zoom is there, everything's there.
Good for you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So identify and brand your authentic self. You certainly are a part of your company's brand. You are. You're part of who they are and what they offer. You also can brand your authentic self, that you are that person and that you offer great customer service. Have a look and a feel about yourself, whether that's on your webpage, whether that is on, how you show up at meetings, what you give out, handouts, and so on. And I'm just going to say this, there are a lot of people that use virtual assistants You know, when you get up there a little bit in your company and your time is very, very valuable, get a virtual assistant that understands how to use Canva or understands how to use any kind of a design program, InDesign, something, so that you can have your flyers really look like you. Go online and Instagram and find people that have big followings and look at how they show up. What is their look? What is their feel? How have they branded themselves? Because it's probably they put some time into that. And notice I said authentic self. This is the thing about being your authentic self. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be somebody else. You know, I only did that one time when someone told me, Nicki, you need to stand behind the podium. You need to read your slides. You need to wear all black so you'll look really skinny on the screen. You know, I mean, she told me all these things that I needed to do. And I tried it. I tried to be her because that's how she is. And that's how she wanted me to be. And I tried it and I looked out at the audience and they were snoozing. It was not good. And I was bored myself. By the way, if you can't entertain yourself, it's really hard to entertain anybody else. So I got to have fun at what I'm doing or I just don't enjoy it. And I don't think the people do either. So be you, not somebody else. Don't look at someone that you think is a great leader or is a beautiful person or whatever. It's hard to be somebody else. Just be yourself. And that's the best part. So look and be professional. Now, I looked at this picture pretty well after I'd already put it in the slides here. And I think I've made all of those faces on screen. And, you know, some reason people take my picture when I'm looking really weird, you know, but if that's who you really are, that's okay. You know, you're having fun, that's okay. But when you go out and you go out to meet people, you want to look professional and be professional. I was just in Las Vegas this last week and I had an event there and had a wonderful time. It was great. But the way some people dress in that city, especially on Fremont Street, is really interesting. And this girl walked out in front of us as we came out of the hotel, and she had on these shorts that were like this. You know what I mean? They were like, everything was there. And one of the ladies behind me said, boy, she doesn't look pretty. She doesn't look very professional. And another lady said, well, it depends on what profession you're in. And I thought, okay. So anyway, we are direct selling professionals. We go out to do business looking like a businesswoman. I don't care if you're just going to the grocery store. Make sure that you look professional. People want to do business with professional people as long as they also look friendly. Not stuffed up and, you know, so professional that we can't connect with people. Smile, say hello, connect, let people know, you know, what you do, because they're going to ask. If you ask, you look like an interesting person, I've never met you. Tell me about you. Ask people about themselves. They like to talk about themselves. Pretty good chance they're going to ask about you too. And you know, we used to practice, we called it an elevator speech, which I thought was weird. And 30-second elevator speech. And this is how you tell who you are and what you're about, not 30 seconds or 1 minute or whatever. I don't know that you want to make it a speech. I think you want to make it a connection with another person. So when you listen to them, find out what the connecting points are. How do you connect with them? And that is very professional. So that's a thought that I think sometimes, you know, yeah, you want to be casual sometimes, and that's nice. But if you're looking to do business, look professional. Now, for you, it's mastering these basics, and your business will stand out. Your business will connect, etc. By the way, there's a question in the box, and I think that I don't know if that was you, Andronette, or who it was that had an app just put what the name of the app is and send that. If you feel it's appropriate for all, then send it to everyone. Otherwise, send it to Bridget because she'd like to get that. So
She's away from her, she's
Okay.
away from her seat.
oh, okay, good. Well, she'll hopefully send one directly to her then.
Okay,
I think she'll get it. So how do we master things? You know, I had somebody that took our level 1 coach school like 6 times. And I said, when will you be ready to go into level 2? And she said, well, I haven't mastered level 1 yet. And I said, you don't need to master it. Level 2 is to support you in mastering it. So it's time to move ahead. I don't know that we ever totally master. I don't know what that means, but I wouldn't say that I'm even a master coach, and I've been coaching for over 20 years. I'm good at it, but I also know that to master means you know everything, and I don't know that you'll ever know everything about everything. I kind of like still learning, and I hope you do too. So that is a bit about that. So what are your ahas from today? And what questions do you have that are beyond what I covered in this? Would anybody like to comment there? You can either speak up or put something in the chat box, whichever you'd prefer. Andronette, glad you're back. You have a message direct to you.
I was here. I sent a message. Thank you.
Okay.
I was
So,
chewing.
okay, ahas are things that that are like light bulb moments to you, something that made you really think, a new idea, a new thought. You can type it into the box, or you can raise your hand and just speak out. I also want to ask one other question while you're thinking. Is 7 Eastern too early for this class? Because we had over 200 people register for this, and not many make it tonight. So my thought is maybe it's a bad time. And I had somebody tell me that for the Eastern folks, it's not a good time. But I want to make sure that if it is, and it just was a weird night tonight, that's okay. But anybody have a thought on that? Is 7 okay? Type into the box. Yes, 7 works. I'd rather be later. I'd rather be earlier. 8 is better. Okay, thank you, Lisa. Anybody else? Yes, it's okay, or yes, later is better for you, Bridget. I like what was said about branding, your authentic self. I'm so glad, Beverly, because you know what? That is just being you. Linda says 7 is good. I love the 9 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of people like that after they get kids into bed. Thank you for telling me this. But see, you're here. It's all the other people that I don't know what they thought. So that's okay. Well, I'm glad we had some ahas and that you're filling me in on what you're thinking is good. Okay, 7 Eastern time is good. Thank you. All right, so what's next? We have a new Coach Excellence School Level 1. It starts April the 11th. And this is a spring course. You can find that at that link. So if you want to take a picture of that or write it down, that'll take you directly to that link, or you can go to dswa.org/events. And we ran a special for everybody that's been in a school before for a 75% off code. And I think it's 250. I know as part of it, DSWA 250, I think is the code. And you get to come for 75% off. But if for a second time, if you've already been in before. So those of you that have taken the class some time ago, that would be a good time to take that one. Also notice that there is beginning, oops, I just messed that up. That there is another class that's coming on May the 9th. So even if you've been in coach school before, this is a really good class to go to. It's the Coach Approach for Sales and Service. And this can be for somebody even not in direct sales. If your husband is in a company or something that is in selling. It's a great course, and it's less money, and it's a great introduction. People do well going to that class first and then going to coach school. And some people go to coach school and then come back to that class. Share that with your team, because I think they will really enjoy doing that. So we've got a couple choices of new classes that are coming up. This is how you join our community. I've got lots of opportunities, things to do and see and so on. So take a look at all that. And what I want to bring about this time together is, if there's anybody that would like to be coached around anything that came up for you during this call, or maybe you have a limiting belief or something that's holding you back, or you're not even sure what that is that's holding you back. We generally take the classes a half an hour, and then we do the last half an hour for answering questions or further clarification, or if somebody wants you to go back over something again. And so we can do that. So Bridget says you have a question. What is your question, Miss Bridget?
Would you elaborate on the branding? I get the part about, just being us, being our authentic self.
Mhm.
I struggle with, because I do, and I think everybody here on this call, we represent our company. However, we also wanted to, and there's so many restrictions. I know my company has a lot of restrictions of what we can and cannot do and say and all that kind of stuff. So it just has kind of frozen me, thinking, all right, yeah, I'm glad Amber's shaking her head. If you would just elaborate on how we even go about the branding, or am I, obviously, you know me well enough, I'm probably making this too hard. So,
That's okay. So for everybody, you always want to follow the company guidelines. You don't want to get your company in trouble. You don't want to get you in trouble. So following those company guidelines, and some of them have more rules and regulations than others, and no claims and all that kind of thing. That's an important part of it. So how do you brand yourself? That's really by being noticed in your community and our online. It could be your online community. But, I know a lot of people do VIP groups where they invite their customers and they get to see them in a little different environment. That seems to be good on Facebook. A lot of folks are doing that. But we all have a look and a feel for ourselves. Now, it's funny that I'm telling you this, because I've always branded DSWA. I didn't want this to be about Nicki. I didn't want it to be about me. And years later, I kind of realized I probably should have branded myself, because I'm a big part of DSWA. And so I'm looking at that now. I'm looking at, how do I get some videos that really showcase me and my skills? How do I, what's my look and my feel for how I show up? I want to be seen as personable. That's kind of my brand, is I'm personable. I care about people. This isn't all about me. It's about what I can do for the people. So that's part of my brand. I don't want to show up as so perfect that I always have to look perfect and everything is so just all that. And we have a saying in Hawaii, which is a dumb saying. I don't know where it ever came from. She thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. I don't know what the chips have to do with anything, but that is a saying we have here. Anyway, so my brand is different. And as I've gotten more seasoned, that's my term. I'm seasoned. I'm not getting old. I'm just getting more seasoned. As you get more seasoned, sometimes people think that when you're old, that you have lost touch with what's new. And so part of my brand now is really I know what's going on. I know what's going on in this business. I'm connected to a lot of people, and I'm current. Age doesn't have anything to do with it. It has a lot to do with how your brain functions, that you can still be relevant.
mhm.
So that was kind of my brand. I think, like for you, Bridget, your brand is very similar. You want to be known as knowledgeable, that you are competent in what you're doing and confident in what you're doing. You have years of experience
Mhm,
in the business. You represent a quality company.
mhm.
You care for yourself and you want to teach others how to care for themselves. I mean, that's how I see you. So I think you're doing a
Thank you.
pretty darn good job of branding yourself. You know, and I don't know about anybody else, but I want
Can I
to have,
say something,
Thank
Nikki?
you.
yes,
Thank you.
Lisa, you're welcome. Lisa, was that you?
Yeah, it is. I just want to say that what you bring, I think, to direct selling businesses, all types, is I don't even know my word, but what I love is that you take us out of our particular business and you talk about direct selling as a whole. And I think that concept is missed a lot. We're so involved in what we're doing
Mhm.
and in our little microcosm of our business. Does that make sense? But we forget we're part of a larger model that has a lot of this great stuff that you bring. And I think that's a great way for us to connect our people back to direct selling, back to your company. Thank you for that slide, by the way. And I just think that's the missing piece a lot. What I find is a lot of my people don't really understand direct selling. Does it make sense? Like on a larger platform.
Mhm.
And I think you empower us to do that with all of these classes. You take us out of our little worlds of what we do, but you give us such a broader view that is so appropriate for networking groups, posts, things like that, that we're not necessarily taught in our little world. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
I hope I'm making sense.
And that's a part of what we've probably been most known for is, you know, like we have a class on having pride in your profession. And it's
Yes.
really owning that you are part of direct selling. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Be proud that you chose this career and that you are an entrepreneur and that you're the CEO of your own company. That's all part of what this is about. And that's why I, for many, 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 many years, just really held up the organization. I had one person say this to me one time. Yeah, this is just us girls talking here, but I thought it was really interesting. But he said, he goes, it seems like you have a lot of following and that, you have a charismatic connection with people. I just want to know, is this the Nicki show or is there something more to what you do?
Wow.
My jaw dropped and I was like, wow, missed the whole thing. You've missed everything of what this is about. So, generally when people say things like that, it's kind of about them, really. And I respond, I said, well, it's never been the Nicki show. It has always been what we could do for this profession. And we have supported people from all different companies and all different walks of life and all different countries. And we will continue to do that for a long time. And he didn't quite know what to say to that because he thought he was going to rattle me. Sometimes people want to see what you're made of and they like to rattle you to see what buttons to push. Don't let them push your buttons. Hold on to what your truth is. So anyway, thank you, Beverly. Beverly says nice comments. Edie, thank you so much. It's like diplomacy, like the UN, adding sales for something to enhance life. Very true. Here's another comment. You are so comfortable to talk with. You inspire and trust. Thank you so much. I appreciate those comments. Anybody else with something? I put the slide back up for Lisa, and I can take it down again because I like to see your faces. So I'll stop share. So what else? Anybody have anything that you would like support on or that I can assist you with at this time?
Well, I have a question. but I've spoken earlier sessions, so I don't want to,
You know what? You raised your hand, go for it.
okay. Well, the product that I want people to take is Juice Plus, and I work in healthcare anyway as a homeopathic practitioner. And sometimes I feel this urgency. I feel like what I have to offer could save a person's life. And I know that we each have our own journey and then I mustn't interfere, but I don't know what to do with that feeling I have of urgency when I'm talking to someone. I want to be polite. I want to be respectful. I want to, I want them to have their own journey, but any perspective you might offer on how to best funnel that sense of urgency. And I have right now going on there 4 people I know that I feel I could save their life, and not me, not my ego, but I want them to live. I love having them alive in my life. So
And it's interesting because sometimes people don't want to hear us when we really do have their best interest in mind. And they think that they need to be right. And it's hard because, it'd be like, even a doctor who knows they could give some treatment to somebody and they could be healthier or live longer or whatever. Some people want to hear it, some people don't. You can't make somebody do something. It's like when you see your friends. I was with a bunch of people that I went to college with this last week, and I'm telling you, some of their skin was the roadmap. I'm just saying, it was like needed hydration so bad, and I just wanted to whip something out and put it on their face, but I didn't. They didn't want, they aren't ready for that. They aren't ready. Sometimes it's like, again, it's like asking a question. So how are you feeling about your health today? What, if anything, would you like to be different? When did you have the most energy in your life? Those would
and I
be.
love what you said about how can I support you?
Mhm.
Because
How
there's one healthcare person that I know of. I haven't ever been her patient, but when people walk in the door and sit down, she says, how can I help you today? And
Mhm. Support is a better word than help. It is.
okay. Yes. Right.
Because
I
people
agree.
don't want to feel helpless.
Hmm.
So how can
Yeah.
I support you is a really good way to let people know I'm here for you. What that says as a practitioner right away is I'm here to listen to you.
Hmm.
Because most of them are not. It's a sad thing to say. They give you 20 seconds and then they want to fix it, and um, being able to listen. And I know it's money. I know that they're thinking, time is money and I don't have all day. Just whip it out and tell me what you need and I'll fix it, but when you say to somebody, how can I support you? And then zip your lip and just listen. Wow, it's interesting what you find out, what people will tell you. Yeah. So asking questions versus saying you would really benefit from our product, it could make a huge difference for you. You're probably not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So let me just get you started on this program, and that they can put up a wall all day long. When you ask a question, they are not going to object to their own answers. So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
Anyone else? And thank you, Beverly, for your comment that reaching out it doesn't need to be stressful. Make people feel safe. That's just a life lesson. Make people feel safe in your presence and make them feel that you're not here to judge them. You see, in coaching, there is no judgment. There is no judgment. So it kind of becomes a way of living that you just don't judge people. You don't walk down the street and make comments about others. It's just not there. Yes.
But Nicki, how is making people feel safe? What's the distinction between that and being a people pleaser?
Being a people pleaser is your goal in life is to make everybody else happy. When you are a coach, your goal in life is not to make everybody else happy. It is to help them to discover what makes them happy. It's all about them discovering. So it's a very different approach to things. I maybe as a young kid, I was a people pleaser. I wanted to make everybody happy around me. I think that was kind of me. And I remember my mom saying to me as a very young person, she goes, "Nikki, you're never going to make everybody happy. That's not your job in life. That's their job." That was like, what? I mean, I was a middle kid. I thought I was supposed to keep everybody in good shape, and it didn't quite go like that. Um, so making people feel safe, whatever they say will not be judged. Whatever weakness that they see in themselves will not be judged. It just is. And let's work through that. Let's find some answers for you. But you get to find your own answers.
So if you're helping them feel safe, but you feel like there's some information they're missing, you just keep asking questions, keep engaging with them.
They will eventually ask you a question.
Okay.
They do, because it's different kind of pressure on your brain when you're asked a question. Your brain works to find an answer. But then what you realize is, I'm the one doing all the talking here. I'd like to know about you. You're interesting. So I rarely tell people what I do, especially I don't tell people that I coach, because then they misunderstand that. They think that you're going to try and fix them immediately and that they're broken, and that's not the approach of a coach at all. So I don't always tell people who I am and what I do. I listen a lot, and I kind of figure them out pretty quick because I listen. And it's called heart-centered listening. You're listening not to find the answer. You're listening to understand. It's very different. It takes practice.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I feel like, sometimes I feel like when I'm quiet and listening, then after the interaction, I feel guilty because I didn't offer something that I felt would help them.
Mhm.
So,
Now you can get to that point. You can ask permission. May I share something with you that might make a significant difference in your health?
mm, I love that. Thank you.
That's a very gentle way. And who would say no? I mean, that's somebody that thinks they're right, and they're probably not going to be convinced no matter what you do. But if somebody said to me, "May I share something with you that could make a significant difference in your health or in your life or in your relationships," or what, I would say, "Yes, please," because I want to hear them. I could have a blind spot. That skill is called compassionate feedback and coaching. And it's a very specific skill. When somebody has a blind spot, how you can deliver a message without them getting defensive. It's a very powerful skill to learn, especially if you're somebody that stores things up like a chipmunk, and then you don't tell anybody until you're ready to blow a gasket. That's an important skill to learn. Lisa, a while ago, you had your hand up. Did you want to ask something else?
Oh, yeah, I think I did. You were talking a little bit about judgment. And when you're in a conversation with someone who maybe is judging themselves or thinking that you're going to judge them, like, you must think I'm this, or you know what I mean? Like, does that warrant a response from us? Or do we just, do
If
we
somebody
say
said that,
like,
if you said that to me, okay, go ahead and say,
oh, Nikki, you're gonna think I'm a horrible person, but like I don't even like wash my face, or like something like that. Like, don't
Mhm,
judge me. You're gonna think this.
mhm. Well, it's funny because people think they're a mind reader and they think they know what you're going to think.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I say, well, no, that's not really what I'm thinking. I just acknowledge it that, no, that's not really what I'm thinking,
Okay.
you know, and and I make it a point to not judge people. I've said that to people. I
Okay.
make a point to not judge people. What good comes from that? Most people are judgmental about themselves. More judgmental about themselves than anything, than others. That's why here's another little thought. When people are very judgmental of others, they are almost always very judgmental of themselves. That's really where it starts. So I don't want that to get worse for them. I want it to get better. So, I mean, I've asked people that said, I think I'm just a horrible person. And I've asked, what makes you say that? And
What
then
makes you say that? Okay, very good.
or where did that thought come from? So it didn't come from me. Where did that thought come from? So Andronette, thank you. She had to hang up. Anybody else? I've got an appointment here shortly, so I'm gonna have to go tonight. But I've got time for one more comment. If anybody has something that you would like to be supported through. Anybody else? Paula, I'm so glad you're here. I think you're a first time being here. At least I haven't seen you before. So I'm glad you're here tonight. Thank you. Linda, Kimberly, we've got a lot of good people on the line tonight. Anybody else something I can support you with? Just go out and be you. Be the best you that you can be. Love what you get to do every day. I don't ever say I have to do this, I have to do that. I say I get to do this. Find things that you love about your life and do more of that. Have more fun. Find people that you enjoy being around. Look for good in others. Look for good in yourself. When we say, I need to, I should, I have to, those are subtle ways of shaming yourself. You'll learn that in the enlightened vocabulary section of the level 1 school, because there's so many words that we use. I was at my sister's house in Atlanta, Georgia, and she lives and goes to a church called Brownbridge. And the pastor is Andy Stanley. And the older Andy Stanley, it's his son. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. And she said, Nicki, you won't believe it. Andy Stanley is teaching your enlightened vocabulary. I said, oh, wow, I'm so honored. She said, he has a 3-part series. It's called Words Have Weight. And I've been saying that for 30 years. Words have weight. They either add weight or heaviness to your being, or they lift you up. They either are enlightening and empowering or disempowering. Be conscious of the words that you choose for yourself, the words that you say to other people, because we got to take care of us. We want to live a long time. I have grandchildren. Now I have 2 great-grandchildren. I want to live a long time. I want to see them grow up. In fact, my little granddaughter said, Mimi, will you be coming to my high school graduation? Yes. Will you come to my college graduation? I said, I'm planning on. Will you be there when I get married someday? I would hope so. If I ever have kids, can you teach them? I just laughed. And I thought, God, I got a lot of years to live and hang in here. So we all must take care of ourselves first. And, I have a little song that I do. I'm a little teapot. I'm a little teapot, short and stout, and sometimes I make people sing it. Well, you've got to replenish the teapot. You've got to add water to the teapot so you have more to give. So take care of yourself this week. Enjoy the holiday. It's a beautiful time to be with family. And just be happy you're alive today. Take care, everyone. I enjoyed being with you tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all again next month. We got a great class coming up. I can't wait to have you all come back and join us. Aloha and blessings to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Aloha. Thank
Thank-
you.
Bye-bye.